And this is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio. We are covering Army football practice. The Black Knights will be back at Mikey Stadium on Saturday to play Abilene Christian. And we're going to talk to a senior on the defensive unit of the Army football team, and that is Chris Skyers. And he's from Loganville, Georgia. Chris, how are you today?
I'm doing good. It's nice to meet you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you. How was practice today?
Practice was pretty good. We were crisp with our communication and just moving around. Things felt pretty good. We're getting closer to being ready to play.
Very good, very good. Now, tell us a little bit about where you're from. Where'd you play high school football?
So I played at South Gwinnett High School. That's in Snellville, Georgia. Uh, Grew up there since I was about 10 years old. So I was just playing rec league ball around there. And you play with the same guys, and it's pretty competitive. So it's pretty good to play in that area.
Absolutely. Now, tell us a little bit about now. Why did you decide to come up to West Point? As a few years ago, you're a senior now, but what originally attracted you to West Point?
I would say I had a couple of well, besides the fact that my dad was in the military and as well as my mom, I had a couple of old grads in my ear and coaches and just talking to the coaches here when I was being recruited, it just seemed like the best option for me.
Well, that's great. Now, let me ask you. Now, what branches of the military were your parents in?
So my mom was in the Army. She was in for approximately 8 years. She was a nurse, and then my dad was in the Navy for approximately 23 years, about around 23. Mhm.
Wow,
Both enlisted.
very good, very good. Now, tell us a little bit about now. You've made it. You're a senior now, and that's to be really to be congratulated. You go through so much. You have to do so much at West Point. Tell us about the journey through West Point to your senior year. What were some of the big challenges and accomplishments? Would you say?
Big challenges. I would say a big challenge was just getting acclimated to the academic workload, and that's a lot of people have, but a lot of people struggle with that. But I wasn't necessarily as good at it in the subjects that I struggled in a little bit, such as like the maths, not really the sciences, but really just math. I had trouble with, but I've kind of found my niche, and I went into BSNL, which is behavioral sciences, and I just loved the work that we did there, studying people. I'm a sociology major, so it was just
Yeah.
right up my kind of had to find what worked for me when it came to staying organized, and also what field of study I enjoyed the most.
Very good. Well, we know the challenge is playing Division One football and top level academics, and then the military training and drill that you do every day. Is there something that really helps you along the way with academics? Some of the guys on the team will talk about just reaching out to each other and to the resources at the academy. Is there something that helped you with academics at West Point?
So I had to learn the hard lesson that you have to go to your instructors. You have to go to the source really, and you can't go wrong by doing that. So when I started, asking for assistance after hours or just setting up meetings with my instructors, everything skyrocketed from there. It was just a way better experience being prepared for class, being prepared for tests. There were no surprises, just like preparing for a game.
Yeah, well, you've had played a very important role on the Army football team as a defensive back. You've had 7 tackles. You had 5 solo tackles out at Cincinnati last week. And tell us a little bit about what have been some of the highlights for you playing Army football.
Some of the highlights, I would say just after big wins, definitely celebrating in the locker room with my teammates. That's a highlight every time. Doesn't matter who we play or how we play, just coming to the end of the game and coming out with the win is just a great experience. other than that, just seeing a lot of my teammates succeed, that's really what brings me joy. I try to help them be their best, and they help me be my best. So seeing them, you know, have something come out of that and see success, that's just really what, I enjoy the most out of doing this.
Well, that's terrific. We've seen some of the video of the team singing "Brave Old Army Team" after a win. It's very exciting. Now, tell us about, you've got a lot of young players in your room as defensive backs, safeties, and cornerbacks. It seems like the program has really brought in a lot of good players into the defensive secondary. Tell us about some of the players that you've learned from, and some of the players that you're having a chance to mentor.
So while I was here, we had like a great success on the team, and I had players like Jalen McClinton, Gibby Gibson, just like players like that, as well as who was Ryan Velez, Cam Jones, those guys. They really coached me up every day, and the safety position, it really takes a lot of, it takes everybody to be successful on the field, because there's two guys out there at a time. So we really try to help each other, and then I'm just trying to do the same thing that those older guys did for me with the younger guys in the room now, and just every possible aspect of their game that they could improve upon. You know, I make it a point to ensure that they know that, if you do this, you can get a better outcome here. If you do that, you can get a better outcome here. It's just helping those, like how I was helped. And that's honestly the best part of playing this position. Just everybody is so willing to assist each other.
Very good, very good. And just remind our audience which of the positions you play. Do you play corner or do you play safety?
I play safety. Hmm.
Very good. Well, what's the key to playing safety? I know you're kind of the last person to available to make a play, but you're also in trying to stop the run, especially those tough fullbacks coming up the middle. What's the key to playing safety?
I would say being able to communicate with the rest of the defense, as well as seeing the whole picture, and that's just looking at, what the offense is showing you, and what are they preparing to do. Because essentially, as a defense, you have to react a lot to what the offense, what they had planned, and if you can anticipate what they're going to do by looking at their alignment, their formations, and getting everybody on the same page on the defense, that's really the biggest job of the safety, just communicating and just being knowledgeable on what you need to do, as well as what those around you need to do, and what the offense is possibly going to do.
Very good. Now, a final question. Now, as a senior, you'll be looking at the Army next year. Is there a branch of the Army that you're interested? You got to have your sights on joining next year?
Yes, sir. I'm interested in being an air defense artillery officer. So that's just my biggest choice right now, but I really could see myself being an armor officer or aviation officer as well. It's just, deciding, what's best for me.
Sure, all the combat arms, possibly. Now, is that being a helicopter pilot if you're an aviation officer?
Yes, sir. Hmm.
No, that's exciting, and would be a great opportunity. Air defense. My father was actually an Army air defense artillery officer in the 1950s when Nike was a missile rather than a running shoe or a football shoe. Chris Skyer, it's great to talk with you. Great to meet you. A senior safety on the Army football team, had a big game against Cincinnati. Will be out there playing against Abilene Christian on Saturday at Mikey Stadium. Great to see you tonight.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Our pleasure. Good to see you. This is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio, covering Army football practice.